people are saying on Twitter. DJ Zwy says, I think South Africa should adopt the American style of voting. Let the people choose their president. That's the view of DJ Zwy tweeting at Mbulivuyo. Now, B_Mtwapi uses a different view. Mtwapi says, we are not America. Okay? Each and every country has its own way of doing things. Okay? So let's stop being influenced by these European countries. That's the view of Bhim Mtwapi. Bong Nzeku tweets at Mbulivuyo saying, all the best to President Barack Obama for his next term. Those are the visuals. I think those are coming out of Chicago, if anything, and that's where the victory speech of President Barack Obama is expected to be delivered. We're also expecting, of course, at some point, Mitt Romney will come out and say, well, he is conceding defeat to Barack Obama. So it'll be interesting to see and to particularly hear what his remarks are going to be following this hotly contested election here. Now, Fusi Mofokeng and MOKOENA refused to lie, and they paid the price by spending 19 years in prison for something they did not do. The pair was sentenced to life in 1993 for conspiracy to murder a policeman and rob a farmer in Bethlehem, Kwana Freystata in the Free State. This was another case of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. They were convicted in terms of the controversial doctrine of common purpose. Joining us now is one of the men who was sentenced to life imprisonment for a crime he did not commit, Fusi Mofokeng and Ruth Hopkins, who's a journalist at the WITS Justice Project. To both of you, good morning to you. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Fusi, thank you for joining us. First, tell us about what happened.
It was on the 2nd of April 1992 when my brother-in-law arrived from Polar Park, accompanied by 7 other members of the self-defense unit. They were on their way to KwaZulu-Natal, as we were told, to try and assist their comrades there, which they were under the attack by the IFP supporters then. Then it happened that he came to my place in Bethlehem, because as they were going to KwaZulu-Natal, you are somehow passed through Bethlehem. So when they were arrested, the police discovered that he came by my place. Then I was too arrested.
And what were you charged with?
I was charged with conspiracy to rob, attempted murder, and murder. And
you were convicted?
Yes.
And then what happened?
Yeah, we were sentenced on the 5th of March 1993 to life and 18 years imprisonment. Yeah. Then I followed all the procedures that are in the judicial system to appeal without success.
You were not there?
I was not
when the
there.
Crimes were committed?
Yes, and I didn't even know those who accompanied my brother-in-law to KwaZulu-Natal. I didn't know them. It was
How did you feel then?
It was bad. It was bad, really.
Betrayed?
Yes. I can't explain how it was then. It was.
Were you angry?
Yes, I was. But later on, after serving maybe 6 years, I realized that the time has come to accept that I'm in prison, because by denying that I'm in prison, I realized that it has a negative impact on my life.
Yeah. Ruth, how do you get involved in the story?
Well, Fusi and TSHOKOLO wrote to the WITS Justice Project in 2009, and we're a group of journalists based at the WITS University, and we basically investigate miscarriages of justice. And so we looked into this case and got involved.
And what did you find in the journey of the investigation?
Well, we found their story, for starters, very convincing. As Fusi was saying, they're at the wrong place at the wrong time. And in 1998, the members of the SDU unit came before the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and they confessed their crime, and so they were released. But Fusi and TSHOKOLO said, we can't confess to a crime that we never committed. So they were sent back to jail. And so that, for us, was really a very important point, because, I mean, they could have said, yeah, we're sorry, and and they could have regained their freedom, but they stood by their principles.
Yeah. Is that the element that persuaded you?
Yes, and I mean, also there was no real evidence in the court case. If you look at the testimonies of witnesses and circumstantial evidence, it was just not very convincing.
But how come were you as journalists persuaded, but the courts were not persuaded?
Well, I think at the time it was an apartheid-era court, and they used the doctrine of common purpose, which was, during those days, often used to kind of arrest more people than necessary. It was used in township riots a lot. So, I mean, that's not a very convincing doctrine, according to us. I mean, because it's relatively easy to convict someone if you can sort of prove that they had intent.
So 6 years down the line, you accept that you're in prison. What then happens?
I carried on trying to prove my innocence. I wrote a number of letters to various departments. Some of the responses were very positive, giving me hope that maybe I might realize my freedom in the near future, but it never happened up until 1998, when we were told that we were going to appear before the TRC Amnesty Committee in Welkom. Then we went down to Welkom, whereby on the 21st of July 1999, my co-accused, those who committed the crime, were released, and we were left behind with MOKOENA.
You didn't choose the easy way out then. Why?
It was very difficult to say that I killed somebody when I don't know, even today, how to shoot. I never carried a gun in my life. So I find it very hard to accept that I killed people. I don't even the spot where the people were killed then. I didn't know the spot.
Yeah.
It's only after my release that I came to know the place.
That you went there?
Yes.
How do you then get to be released? What happened?
What happened is that in 2010, there was a court case in the Constitutional Court brought forward by a certain inmate by the name of Paul van Vuren. He was also serving life sentence. And according to the act which existed then, the time we were sentenced, requires that when a person sentenced to life before 1994, March 1994, is supposed to serve 15 years in prison physically. Then it is on that basis that we are released, on that judgment, which was
You were not
taken to
released
court.
because you did not commit the crime?
No, I was not released.
So you've not
because I
been
did
exonerated on that particular
That is
element?
exactly. I'm still on parole conditions to date, and I'm still having a criminal record, whereas the actual perpetrators of crime are free. They don't have any criminal record.
So are you
with
planning
them.
to go to court to get the judgment expunged, as it were?
Yes, we are on the process. Day before yesterday, we went to Weber Wenzel to see our lawyers there.
Are you getting compensation?
It's very difficult to talk about the compensation now. I must first prove my innocence and get my name cleared. Then that one of compensation maybe will follow.
Yeah, so you were saying Weber Wenzel is assisting you now with trying to get the judgment expunged. Ruth, just tell us a little bit about that process. How is it going to unfold?
Well, actually, I can't say too much about it because the lawyers are preparing it, and they have to do their work, and they'll come out with their legal strategy when the time is right. But I do think it's very important that these men get compensation for the time wasted in their lives. And you actually see that after apartheid, the democratic governments have continuously passed the buck. Department of Correctional Services has said it's not our responsibility, it's Department of Justice.
And yet people are languishing in jail.
Yeah, but even now, there's been no recognition of their innocence, and I'd say it's high time.
Wow. Do you feel bitter, though?
Not that much. At times,
yeah,
I get angry, but I know that is going to work against me if I have a bitterness within me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us here on Morning Live. So, are you married?
Not yet.
You've got children?
No children.
So that part of your life has sort of stayed in limbo?
Yeah, that's good.
And you've got a job?
Yes, I'm working currently.
Doing what?
I'm working as a mechanic assistant at the BETHLEHEM municipal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the best. Your story is compelling. It's a pity on Morning Live we've got limited time because I just want to ask you so much more questions. Thank you so much for coming in to talk to us. Ruth, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And for the work that you do with your colleagues there at WITS. You're watching Morning Live on SABC2. It's a compelling morning, isn't it just? If you'd like to tweet at Mbuli Vuyo, do that, or you can text 33726 at Apani Freddy is on standby.